everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Route 53. This is you can think of it like DNS basically. Okay, I'm not going to go on the details on how the DNS works basically. You can go back and review my course on DNS to understand it. I have a course on DNS explaining in detail, but basically what we will use it is to translate like domain name to an IP, like to point the domain name to an IP. It translates, like for example, so, yeah. So domain registration, DNS routing, and health checks. This is the purpose of Route 53. And we do that. We have different policies in routing when we with our AWS. We have simple routing. This is just one domain, one resource. That's it. Basic mapping. It's just taking a specific domain and mapping it with a resource. It can be a load balancer or IP or whatever, right? That's it. Weighted routing splits by percentage. So basically, let's say you have two different instances, okay, two different systems, and you set like a percentage for this first instance, okay, to be 80%, okay, and yeah, 80%. Okay, and you set the other instance 20%. So this is like you're saying, I want you to visit this one. You're splitting the traffic by percentage. That's the idea of weighted routing. Saying 80% of the user, I want them to go here. 20% of the users, I want to go to this one. Here, this could be one load balancer, okay, and here another load balancer to another instance, basically. That's the idea of weighted routing. Latency routing sends user to the lowest latency region. That's latency routing. So let's say we have users in Saudi, okay, and once they visit this website or domain, it's going to direct them to the instance inside the Bahrain region because it's the nearest region, right? So nearest region, so less latency. So that's the idea. So same goes with Europe. Europe users will be redirected to the instance inside the region Frankfurt. Okay, that's the idea. So it just automatically sends user to the lowest latency region. Okay. Failover routing is basically the primary plus backup. That's the idea. Let's say you have uh, two, yeah, you will set up two resources. Okay, one as a primary instance and the other as a failover. Okay, that means if in case the primary is down, you can use the failover. That's the idea. You will have two different resources or two different load balancers, and in case one is down, you can use the other one. That's the idea of failover routing. In geolocation, this is basically a route based on your user location. Let's say we have Middle East users. Okay, they are located in the Middle East. So the nearest region where AWS is hosted in Middle East is Bahrain, right? So Middle East users will go to Bahrain, the region that's inside the Bahrain, the AWS in the Bahrain. The same for the US users will go to Virginia, right? So that's the idea of geolocation routing. Okay, we have multi-value answer routing. Returns multiple IP, client picks one. We have three healthy EC2 instance returned. This is the thing. Right now, actually, what we need to focus on, we'll try to do this one. We'll implement this one as well. Yeah, and we'll implement this one just so we can understand the concept. Full network flow. We have this is the real architecture. User goes to Route 53. We use load balancer usually for this kind of test setups. And we have the VPC, then private subnet. Yeah, so yeah, so the idea, what we need to know here is actually one second. Yeah, we're going to try to implement this, but before doing this, you need to have a domain actually. Okay, one second. Let me go to my domain. Yeah, so we will go to Route 53 here. Okay. Uh, no. Yeah. First thing you'll do is you'll go to hosted zone here. Okay. Hosted zone. When you go to Route 53, this is the domain that I created. That I have. This is the subdomain of my domain. Okay. So you need to purchase a domain. Okay. So like for example, whether it's GoDaddy or anything. Okay. And you create a hosted zone here. You type your domain here. Okay. Let's just name it whatever here. AES or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just the domain name. Okay. We will leave it as public hosted zone. Create hosted zone. This is my hosted zone. Just something I created. Okay. But this has to be your domain. You can buy a domain from GoDaddy or any other name server. Once you create this domain, okay, you will get this values, name server values. Okay, here. You're supposed to put this inside your registrar. Like if you're using GoDaddy, you have to go to their name server and do it. Okay. If you're using any other, you have to add the name server. This is what I did. I copied this one. Okay. And I went to my registrar, which is where I bought the domain from. Basically, this is the one that I bought the domain from. I created a subdomain because I'm using my main domain for something else. This is a subdomain. Okay, that I created, and I clicked here, and I went to DNS basically. This is the, this is similar. It's similar for even if you are using GoDaddy, they have an option DNS here. Okay, or name server, name cheap or whatever you're using. You will go to DNS and you will add a record here. Here I added. You will add a name server record like this. This is the one that I added, name server record, and this is the record 1, 2, 3, 4. I added this 3 name server records basically. Okay, these 3 name server records I got from here. This is what we need to do. This one, this 4. I added them one by one here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I added them, okay, and I was able to basically access. I can go back now to the hosted zones. I can show you the one that I created. This is mine. So let me go ahead and see. This are let me remove this one. This is just something that I just created, deleted. Okay, this is the one. Yeah, that I pointed to that one. Right now, if I visit the domain, actually, since I don't have anything set up, you'll get nothing here because it's not pointing to anything here, right? But I can create a record here. Okay, when I create a record in the Route 53, I have like I can choose a routing policy from here. If I choose a simple routing policy, this is just a simple routing policy, just to link your policy to something. Okay, you can try it. Let's define simple policy and leave the subdomain here. We don't need a subdomain. I can choose For me, I'm just going to choose an application load, classic load balancer. Okay, and I'm going to choose Virginia here in the region, and I'm going to choose the load balancer here, TES. So then define a simple record, and then create a record. That's it. Now let's go ahead and visit our website. Let's give it some time because it will take time to, yeah, it will take time to replicate to, this is just a simple record pointing to my load balancer. Also, let me make sure it's actually on. No, it is on. Just give it some time. And type HTTP. Okay, let's just try to visit the load balancer itself to make sure it's actually working. Yeah, the load balancer is working. So the issue is just there is no issue actually. It's just it takes time to set this up. So you just added this, so we have to wait for some time. But let's just copy this one and try to open it in a new incognito page. Let's try to do this here. HTTP. Yeah. It's okay. We can give it some time. Okay, it's going to work. Okay, but um, until it works, I can show you what I just did with the load balancer. Okay, basically with the load balancer, I just created an EC2 instances. Here we have, if you go to instances here, you can find, yeah, I created two Linux instances, and I installed Apache, basically Apache there server. Okay, I used this commands. First, I updated and I installed it, Apache, and then I started Apache service inside Linux, and then enable Apache on boot, and just I created a simple web page. That's all. I added here one for the first one and for the second one too, just so we can identify the first one and which is the second one. That's it, mostly. And yeah, that's basically what I did. And once I did this, then I went to target group. Okay, you go to target group. Uh, here, this is target group. Okay, I created the target group here. Okay, like this one, the target group for each. Since I want to. This one is for the first or the second instance. Okay, you see it's healthy here, and this one is for the first instance. Then okay, so now both are healthy, right? So so because I want to create two separate load balancers. Now then I went to the load balancer. I go here, the load balancer. I created the load balancer here. Okay, I created the load balancer. I chose the application load balancer and I created two different load balancers. This is the first load balancer. Okay, and yeah, this is the first part, load balancer, and this is the second. It's linked with the TG, which is the target group for the first instance, Linux instance, and this is the second one, THT, which is the target group for the second instance. I linked it. That's it. And make sure to add the HTTP and HTTPS in the security group in the instances. Okay, and next, even in the load balancer, when you create, you have to add that, I think. And next, what I did is To verify, I just clicked here, checked the DNS name here. This is for the second one. Yeah, this is Apache Server 1. And if you go to the first one, you'll find Apache Server 2 to verify that everything is actually working. Apache Server 1, right? 2 and 1. So right now, then I want to, yeah, then we can go to route. You can, yeah, you can refer back to my load balancer course, the second, not course, video. It's the second video actually, in this course. So you can go back and rewatch it uh, to learn more about load balancers. But that's what I did. So now I want to go ahead and try to search my AWS. Okay, that's what I did. Let me check here. Let me remove this. We don't need it. Delete this one. Delete this AWS. And now view the details. Check the second one. First one is not working, so let's see the second one. Or I think routing policy, simple, evaluate. Yeah. So now, as you can see, when I get this, I'm getting the server one. And that's the thing. See, whenever you add new record, it's going to take time to propagate. So that's why I had to pause the video and wait until it was propagated. Okay, now you can try it out. This was the response before. Now you can just refresh it. Going to get server one. This is linked with the server one here. It's linked with this load instance. This is how you can create a simple uh, routing policy. Okay, which is very easy. But let's say you don't want to just create a simple policy. You want to create something more. You can just delete this one, which I will delete now. And I want to create a weighted routing policy. Okay, it's used when you have multiple resources that should do the same job, and you want to specify the proportion of traffic that goes to each resources. That's the idea of weighted traffic. So let me click next. Okay, and as usual, we're going to leave the subdomain here as it is. Record type, leave it as it is, a TTL. So we can do one thing here. We can reduce actually the TTL. I think it will be a lot easier to check. I think, yeah, but yeah, just to test. Uh, we can choose the value or traffic, which is we're going to use the load balancer. The region is going to be Virginia, And the weight, it's going to be the weight of each record that has the same name type determines the proportion to the square. So first of all, choose the load balancer, which is TES1 for the first one. Okay. And the weight, I'm going to give it, I want most of the traffic to go to server one. Okay. I'm going to give it 80%. The traffic has to go to server one. Okay. And then I'm just going to add the record ID. It's just one or something. And I'm going to add another uh, weighted record. Same. The region is Virginia. And this one I want 20% only to go here. 20% of the record. I'm going to choose two here. I'm going to choose the load balancer TS2. Okay, the record. So what this means is basically what I'm saying is I'm going to go ahead to this one. I'm going to refresh it. It still is in server one, right? You'll never change right now. So I'm going to change. If you go to another browser, paste it here, still is going to be in server one because we just requested it to transfer most of our 80% of the request to server one. Okay. But what if I just change? Go ahead now. Go to this one. I'm going to give it uh the first server. I'm going to give it like let's give it 20%. Save it. And let me go ahead and server two, edit it, and give it 80%. So now it's reversed, right? So now I'm saying I want basically most of my requests to go to server two instead of server one. So now let's go ahead and refresh this one. Okay, because of the cache, you're not going to see something here. The best thing we could do is just go to new traffic here, copy. It's actually cached. That's why I didn't see this one. And give it some time for the change to be reflected. Uh, 1 second. Okay, so, I just said this one and Route 35 within 60 seconds. Uh, propagate your change to all the Route 35 alternative DNS service within 60 seconds. Use view status. So, see, the changes are not actually propagated. That's why we're not seeing. You see, we can use this one in sync. So we have to wait for some time to see that change, the actual change. Sync in sync. Let me refresh this one. Okay. Let me see what's happening here. Let me click new. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's changed actually to server 2. Here it's changed to server 2. Let me go ahead and do the same thing again. This is taking server 1. Server 2 shifted to server 2 here as well. Yeah. We just have to give it some time for the change to reflect actually. Even this one changed to server 2 and refresh this one. It's going to change, just a matter of time, right? For it to propagate the changes. So it's going to keep on using server 2. If you go here and if you like, even if you click a new and private window here, then it's going to get, then you're going to get server 2. This is the purpose of this. So basically, that's the idea of weighted routing policy. Okay. Now that we know this one, let us go ahead and remove these records. Okay, let me create a new record here. I'm going to call it, I'm going to try to do something else now. I'm going to try something like geolocation. Okay. Yeah, we said this is used when you want to route traffic based on the location for the user. Click next. Uh, Let me add default. Let me mention here, we need to use this one, Virginia. User location, yeah, here we have to add where, uh, like first let's choose a load balancer here, for example, TES, first load balancer, server one. So I want people who are in, let's say, in let me say living in USA, United United States, to go ahead and use the access to be able to access server one. Okay, uh, that's it. That's what I'm saying. Basically, people who are users from using from United States location, they should be able to access server one. Define geolocation, and I'm going to create one more here, elastic load balancing, and I'm going to say here Virginia, and here the location. And people who are from Asia, I can even choose by continent. It doesn't have to be by country. I'm going to choose by continent. Anyone from Asia should be able to access TES2, server 2. Okay, so, so I'm going to define this. I'm going to create a record. Again, I think we should give it some time so it will propagate properly. I don't want to do anything without pending, right? Let's give it some time. So it's in sync. So now we can try now. Okay, now let's go ahead. I'm going to close all the tabs that are on right now. I'm going to remove this one. Going to remove everything. So I'm going to go ahead and change my location actually. I'm going to change my location to look to United States. I'm going to use VPN to change my location to United States so that I can access the first server. But here we cannot test it properly. So let me just go ahead and put new here. So I got this first server. Okay, because I'm inside the United States. But what if I change it to Japan? Let's say I try to access the website from Japan. This is Japan, right? So let me refresh this one. Server 2. You see, this is the idea. It changed to server 2. Okay, that's what is the thing. So that's the idea of geolocation. So there is one more we need to check. We need to test, which is very important. Let me go ahead and try to do this. I'm going to choose here hosted. Uh, yeah, I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to delete both actually. We don't need it now. going to delete it, and I'm just going to create new records here. I'm going to refresh this one. Yeah, I think it's the VPN actually. Turn it off. You don't need it right now. So let me just close this one and do one thing. We're going to try failover. Okay, so we're going to leave everything as it is. We're going to change the TTL to 10 just for testing purpose. And here we will find the failover period. Okay, so I'm just going to choose the classic load balancer here. I'm going to choose the region, which is Virginia, North Virginia, and I'm going to choose the file type. This is important, the failover report type. If we choose primary, that means it will route the traffic to this resource by default, basically, to the primary. Okay, and yeah, like I'm going to choose this one, first server. Okay, so I'm going to choose here one. So define failover. And I'm going to define one more. I'm going to choose application of balancing here. I'm going to choose Virginia, and I'm going to choose the type of record second day. This is going to be the backup, right? I'm going to choose here too and define failover. Now let me select the load balancer. Actually, I didn't choose. Select the load balancer, server 2. So create a record. Now this is what we have. We have two, right? So by default, whenever we try, let's say, right now this is, let me refresh this one. By default, it's just going to default to server 1. Okay, always, whenever you refresh, whatever is going to default to server 1. Okay, but if, let's assume, let me go ahead and stop server 2. I mean server 1. Let me stop the instance in server 1. I can do that by going to the EC2 instance here. Let's say go to the instance EC2. I'm going to go to the instance. I'm just going to go ahead and shut down the first server. Stop. Give it some time. Okay, now it's stopped, right? So why we have two here? One is enough. Let me go ahead and refresh this one. So this is now it's down, right? Give it some time. It's going to shift to server 2, basically. So you get 504 gateway and timeout. Wait for some time. Yeah, just give it some time because it will take time, right? So it's not going to work out now. We have to, now we got 503 service temporary and available. The next step is going to be routed to the secondary. But let's just wait for some time. Let's wait. Let me check if this is working. Yeah, this is working. Give it some time. Let it. Okay, let's refresh it. Yeah, you see, we got welcome to your EC2's Apache Server 2. So this is the purpose of failover. You can have a backup. So I think this is enough. Okay. Yeah, I think this is actually more than enough for our uh, session today. We've talked about Route 53 and starting, we can conclude our, uh, we have finished most of the core concepts that we need to finish. Now we have remaining 5 videos, and these 5 videos I'm going to cover the remaining key concepts that are actually remaining that are very important for the exam and for real world actually. So that will be used in, yeah, this is the ones. These are the ones we're going to talk about this stuff, and we're going to talk about the security like um, KMS. We're going to talk about uh, organizations. We're going to talk about secrets management, certificate, and object locks, pre-signed, all this stuff. We're going to see it, and we're not going to go deep on each. We're going to go deep on the key concepts, like uh, high value concepts. We're going to just skim the things that are less used and in real world, and also that you may find in the exam actually. So I have here serverless. We talk about serverless decoupling. I'm going to talk about SysQS, SNS, Lambda, API gateway, event creation stuff. And we have here database and caching. We'll talk about RDS, Aurora, DynamoDB, and we'll try to see some of those points, especially CloudFront, which we already talked about, but we didn't go deep on it. We'll try to see it. And yeah, and we have cost organization monitoring. So we'll see what are the key concepts on this, especially here CloudTrail and CloudWatch and AWS config. We will see this also. And we're going to see about analytics like Kinesis and Athena, some of the key concepts. So basically, especially these key concepts we're going to cover actually in the coming videos. And we are going to finish in hopefully 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully on 29th we will finish the entire course before the end of the month. Could be 29th or 28th. Yeah, try to upload one video per day and we'll finish on 28th. And thank you for watching, and that's all for today's session, and see you on the next session.